Hi everyone, today I'm doing a video about how I went from down and depressed to creative and happy. This is my journey from battling mental health issues to starting my own business and becoming a self-published colouring book author. My story probably starts way back in my teens. I actually had a bad experience with my very first boyfriend. He was physically and mentally abusive, and because of that relationship with him I developed severe low self-esteem and also on top of that developed an eating disorder. Now over the years I did manage to battle that eating disorder myself and that gradually fizzled away, but what I didn't get over was the low self-esteem. I think because of him I ended up doing a self-destructive pattern of attracting men that were similar to him, that preyed on my vulnerability, and they could sense that I had low self-esteem and would, treat me badly. As I've got older, I've surrounded myself with more and more positive people, and I've chosen to marry an absolutely wonderful man who has definitely helped build up my low self-esteem. But just before meeting him is when I had a big bout of depression. So I think all of the years of bad relationships and all of this negative energy I was harbouring towards myself and my lack of self-confidence, it all manifested and came to a head as this huge period of depression. Now I did manage to pull myself out of that. However, the way that I chose to do it was through diet and exercise. As you know, diet and exercise, when done in moderation and done correctly, is really, really good for you. But what I did was actually take it to an extreme. So I was severely obsessed with my diet to the point where, I could literally look at a piece of cake or a serving of potatoes and vegetables and I would be able to know the macronutrient split of fat, protein and carbs, and also tell you the exact amount of calories in there, because that's how obsessed I was with those numbers. Every day I would weigh myself and that would dictate my mood for the day. And also I would do ridiculous things like get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I would have my coffee and my protein laden food and then head off to the gym and do a heavy weight session, then go to work for an entire day, and then after work go straight back to the gym and do some cardio. My life 100% revolved around the gym and what I ate. So I would cancel on plans with family and friends. I would never ever go out for meals with anyone because I'd be petrified of how many calories would be in the menu. And also, if you do the whole thing of not eating when you're out with a group of friends, not only is it rude, but you also feel extremely stupid. So yeah, basically my life was pretty damn boring. I think in essence what happened was what I thought was a healthy habit and would actually help improve my low self-esteem and my body image issues was actually a severely unhealthy obsession that just fed into my depression and also triggered those feelings that I had when I had my eating disorder. So I actually realised it myself that the closer I was getting to my quote-unquote goal, the further away I was from my own happiness and the more I started to battle with the mirror. So the closer I got to the image I had of perfection that was in my head, the more I scrutinised my body, the more I hated every little thing on it, and I was my own worst critic. So actually it made my body image issues about 10 million times worse. And being a little bit older and a little bit wiser and actually having struggled with depression and mental health in the past, I chose to stop going to the gym and just quit that life cold turkey. Not forever, because I do think that diet and exercise does play an important role in being healthy, but I knew that I had to have a break. It did mean that I had a lot of time to think, and me being given space to think isn't necessarily the best of things when you're quite used to having a negative inner monologue. And what I wanted to try and do was silence that voice a little bit and find something that would be a productive use of my time. I was really aware that my mental health was on the decline, and so I knew that I had to find something positive to focus on. Now, I didn't expect it to be what it was. I was just trying to find something or think about something that excited me, and I started thinking about what I was into as a kid, and that was drawing and colouring. And I think my earliest memories are, you know, asking my mum for Crayola gift sets for my birthday and for Christmas. I just absolutely loved it. Give me pen and paper and I would be quiet for hours. So I thought, okay, this is something that I can work with. Maybe I can try and hush the negative inner monologue by exploring my creative side. If you've ever struggled with depression or mental health, then you probably know that there are days when you just feel numb, everything is like there's a big black cloud hanging over you and you can't focus, you don't want to get up, you don't even want to do basic things like brush your teeth. So I really knew that I didn't want to go back into that, because when I had that huge period of depression, I was actually unable to go into work and I would just sit staring at a wall. So I could feel myself slipping back into that, and I really didn't want to head down that slippery slope, because once you start going downwards, you go down fast, and I was really not ready to be in that mindset again. But yeah, having all this time on my hands to think was not very good, because it just meant that I was starting to beat myself up about, oh, you're lazy, you're a quitter, you know, your body looks like this, how are you meant to feel happy if you're not putting that energy in to look after yourself? So I knew that I had to stop and interrupt that pattern. And yeah, so the more I started delving into my creative side, and it really was just playing around. So I was sketching, I was doing a little bit of paper cutting, I was doing some painting, everything that allowed me to express myself in a way other than words, I was doing it. And what I found was the black fog that was hanging over me and that negative voice that was just shouting in my ear, that was starting to lift. So those clouds were moving away and that voice was getting quieter. Once I got into a bit more of a rhythm with my drawing, I did start thinking, you know, there's got to be more out there, and I'm really starting to enjoy this. And I fell upon the colouring community. So even though the adult colouring book trend had kind of died a little bit by that point, so there was a moment in time when it absolutely boomed and Joanna Basbo came on the scene and everyone loved her. I'd kind of discovered the colouring community at the tail end of that, and so I didn't really think that, oh, there's an opportunity for me here. I just wanted to mingle in a place where I felt I would be at home. So naturally, loving drawing and loving colouring, it was a great place for me to be. And I started posting some of my line art into colouring groups. You know, the community is so lovely and they're really supportive of new artists, and they were all really encouraging and telling me, you could do a colouring book, oh, I would love to colour some of your work. And I thought, actually, yeah, this is really good, because if I can use drawing and colouring and just being creative in general to overcome mental health issues and to make myself feel better from the inside out, then surely I can help people with their issues. So this can go full circle. I can actually give back. And I think during my time embedding myself into the colouring community, you do realise as well that there are other people that are using colouring to overcome anxiety, stress. If they've got chronic pain, that helps manage their pain symptoms or just take them to a better place temporarily. I was surrounded by people that were just like myself, and I did see it as a great way to give back. And so from that, I did actually end up self-publishing 2 colouring books, and that was a great experience in itself. It was really challenging, something I'd never done before, and it coming from that place of low self-esteem and not really valuing myself on the whole, to be able to challenge myself to go through something completely new without the guarantee that other people will buy it or enjoy it, that was really good for pushing me outside of my comfort zone and then just growing into where I am now. So in terms of my confidence, it boosted it tenfold. And yeah, it's just been really humbling to see that other people have coloured in my work and they've enjoyed it, and they've said that it's helped them with their stress and their just enjoyment. Like, you don't have to have mental health issues to enjoy colouring, but I think a lot of people discover the world of colouring through that, and that's exactly where my story is. Knowing that my artwork could have such a positive impact on other people, I really started to think about how can I connect to these people on a deeper level and give these people, you know, a safe and supportive space to share their story, so their personal story, and to share their creative selves as well. So I do think that art is therapy and is one of the biggest forms of self-expression, and I wanted to cultivate a little community where true fans of my work could be part of that, and we could all just get to know each other on a deeper level. And my solution to that was to create the Creative Happy Life Club, which is my monthly membership program that I've started. Again, this was another one of those experiences that completely pushed my comfort zone, and the entire time I was creating it, I was putting in hours and hours and hours around my day job, and my husband kept saying, "Kim, why are you doing this? Like, how do you know if people are going to like it? I don't think anyone's going to subscribe as a member." And I just had to keep telling him, my heart is telling me to do this. I know that I have to do this because I know that I've got more to give, and I want to help people on a deeper level than what I am now. So I absolutely will carry on creating colouring books, but I knew that there were a few select people in the colouring community that were standing out to me as really engaging with me as an artist and really truly supporting me, and I wanted to take all of these people under my wing and just give them a space to connect with me more as an artist, and like I said, be friends, be true online friends. And I'm so happy to say that the Creative Happy Life Club has just overwhelmed me. I've had so many lovely messages from members saying how it's impacted their lives. Yes, we're all there for a shared passion of colouring, but it is so nice to know that I'm helping people, like I said, with their mental health issues, because that is such an important topic to me, and it's very much in the forefront of society at the moment as well. So I think people are becoming more comfortable about talking about mental health, which is amazing. And I think if I can carry on that conversation in my own little private space with these colourists of my work, then that is absolutely fabulous. So the Creative Happy Life Club itself is very similar to Patreon. So Patreon is a membership platform again, where creatives can go on there and they can offer, for a set price each month, they can offer fans of their work or patrons of their work a set amount of goodies from them. I wanted to create something similar, but like I said, I wanted to create a dedicated private space for these people, these fans of my work, and I decided to model myself on the Patreon website, but create my own platform for people to join. And so each month as a member, you get a colouring page, a planner page, you get a lifetime discount in my Etsy store for all the other colouring goodies that I've got. There's access to a private Facebook group, and like I said, this is a completely drama-free zone. It's supportive and it's open to talk about anything. It doesn't have to be colouring, it can be anything. So if you are having a bad day with mental health, come in the group and we will just be your biggest cheerleaders and try and put a smile back on your face. So that's the type of community that I'm trying to cultivate. So my mission with the Creative Happy Life Club on the whole was to inspire people to live a more creative and happy life, and obviously that is based on my own personal experience of going through those mental health issues and realising the benefits of creativity on medicating that. Now, I'm not saying that it will work for everyone, and if you need medication or support of a therapist to help you through mental health issues, then 100% stick with that. But if you're looking for a little bit of a safe space to express yourself on a personal and a creative level, and also just experience the benefits of colouring on the whole, so having a bit of rest from that negative inner monologue and just having some space to just breathe and recuperate and use colours to just make yourself feel happy and light you up, then yes, Creative Happy Life Club was made for you. So my future vision for the Creative Happy Life Club, of course, is to carry on adding colouring pages that have been illustrated by myself. Also, I try and interview guest artists, and I would love to carry on doing that as well, because it's quite interesting for me as an artist to see that other artists have discovered themselves through mental health, or because they just want to improve their quality of life through running their own business. So it's really inspiring just to hear everyone's stories, and I think it's a great way for colorists in the colouring community to connect with the people that provide all these gorgeous illustrations that they colour in on a daily basis. I think in the future as well, I would really love to teach other people how they can self-publish their own colouring books, because I learned a lot in that experience, and I think I took a few twists and turns that weren't necessarily needed, spent a little bit too much money, and I think I can condense that down and certainly teach other people how to do it as well. And again, being a colourist, particularly a colourist that is into digital colouring and digital drawing, I am planning to do a course on how to use the app Procreate on your iPad to do digital illustrations to create a colouring book, and B, to colour in. So look out for all of those things. I am going to leave you with this question, and that is, if you've been struggling with anything to do with mental health, how have you dealt with it? And have you explored colouring? Because if you haven't, then I really think you should give it a go, because it is fantastic. It worked for me, it's worked for so many people in the colouring community, and as a little gift to you, I have actually added some free colouring pages down in the links below, so make sure you check those out. And of course, if you've got any questions about the Creative Happy Life Club, I would be more than happy to answer, and there's also a link below for you to check that out and find out exactly what you can get as a member and how it could help you. So thank you so much for listening, and I know I've waffled on a little bit, but it's quite a twisty turny story to tell, and yes, I'm open to anything around the topic of mental health. If you do have any questions or you'd like to know a little bit more, I'm more than happy to discuss. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon.